Have you ever been in a moment where everything seemed to collapse at once, your mind racing, your heart pounding, and not a single clear thought to hold on to? We've all been there. Life doesn't always whisper. Sometimes it roars. But imagine this: a mind that doesn't flinch, a heart that doesn't panic, a soul that stands still even when the world shakes. That's not magic. That's training. That's Stoicism. This isn't some ancient, dusty philosophy locked away in books. It's alive, it's raw, it's real. And in a world overflowing with noise, it teaches us one rare and powerful act: silence. Not the kind you hear, but the kind you feel. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That single sentence, it can change the way you live. Today I'm going to show you how to train your mind not to suppress emotion, but to master it, to face chaos and choose calm. So if you're tired of being controlled by anger, fear, anxiety, if you're searching for peace that doesn't break under pressure, you're in the right place. If this message speaks to something inside you, consider subscribing and liking the video. It helps more than you know and supports our little corner of the internet where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Now, let's begin the training. Lesson 1. Don't let your thoughts speak against you. The first battle we face in staying calm, especially when life gets chaotic, isn't with the world. It's with ourselves. Most people don't realize this, but the loudest voice in the room is often the one in your own head. And it can be brutal. We whisper things to ourselves we'd never say to a friend. "I'm not good enough. I always mess this up. Why can't I be stronger?" This kind of self-talk is a hidden storm. It builds tension, fuels anxiety, and makes us crumble under pressure, sometimes before anything even happens. But Stoicism offers a different way, a quieter, stronger way. Epictetus once told his students, "You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts." That's the shift. You don't have to believe everything your mind says in a moment of stress. You can watch those thoughts rise and let them pass without giving them power. Training your mind to stay calm starts here, by no longer turning against yourself. When something goes wrong, when you make a mistake or the unexpected happens, you don't need to spiral into self-blame or guilt. You can respond with clarity, not chaos. You can pause, breathe, and remind yourself, this moment does not define me. It sounds simple, but this is real strength. It's the kind of inner discipline that keeps soldiers composed, athletes focused, and everyday people grounded when life gets overwhelming. Calm isn't something you find, it's something you build, and it starts with how you speak to yourself when things fall apart. Lesson 2. Don't try to control what you can't control. Let's be honest, most of our stress doesn't come from what is, but from what we think should be. We spend so much of our mental energy trying to bend the world to our will, wishing people acted differently, fearing outcomes we can't predict, replaying situations we had no power to change. No wonder our minds are restless. But the Stoics had a powerful principle, simple in words, life-changing in practice. Focus only on what is within your control. That's it. Everything else, let it go. Think about it. Can you control the weather, the economy, other people's actions? Number. But can you control your response, your effort, your mindset? Absolutely. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's not just poetic, it's tactical. It means when the world throws uncertainty, chaos, or even pain your way, you can stay calm. Why? Because you've stopped trying to control the uncontrollable. Training your mind to stay calm begins with surrender. not in weakness, but in wisdom. You don't have to carry everything. You don't have to fix everyone. You don't have to solve every problem right this second. What you can do is show up fully to the part that's yours and release the rest. This mindset doesn't make you passive, it makes you powerful, because you stop wasting energy where it doesn't belong. You stop being tossed around by every change of the wind. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself one question. Is this mine to control? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. Let it be. Come back to your breath, your thoughts, your actions. That's where calm lives. Lesson 3. Don't react immediately. Respond with intention. Let's be real. How many times have we said or done something in the heat of the moment, only to regret it minutes later? It's so easy to be pulled into the current of emotion. Someone disrespects us and anger flares. Plans fall apart and we panic. We get bad news and fear takes over. Our first instinct is almost always the loudest, but it's rarely the wisest. That's why the Stoics train themselves to pause. Not to suppress emotion, but to observe it before acting on it. There's a powerful line from Seneca. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. He wasn't talking about bottling it up. He meant don't let a single, fleeting emotion drive a permanent decision. Pause, breathe, step back. Give your mind space to choose, not just react. In a world that constantly pressures us to respond instantly, texts, tweets, opinions, outrage, this pause is a radical act of strength. It's what separates the emotionally mature from the emotionally impulsive, and it's the foundation of calm. When you train your mind to stay calm, you create room between stimulus and response. Someone snaps at you, you don't have to snap back. A situation spirals out of your control, you don't have to match its chaos. You observe, you assess. Then, and only then, you respond. That's what makes Stoicism so powerful. Not the absence of emotion, but the mastery of it. Imagine being the one in the room who doesn't lose their cool. The one who listens fully before speaking, who leads not by reacting, but by responding with clarity and principle. That's not weakness, it's leadership, it's wisdom, it's calm under pressure. And like any skill, it gets stronger every time you choose the pause. Lesson 4. Don't boast about what you've yet to master. There's a strange temptation we all face, especially when we're just starting to grow or change, to start talking about it more than we're actually living it. We read one book on Stoicism, take a few cold showers, have a calm day or two, and suddenly we want the world to know we've figured it out. But Stoicism teaches us something different. True strength doesn't need to announce itself. Epictetus said it best. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. In other words, let your calm speak for you. Let your discipline show in how you carry yourself, not in how loudly you tell others you're improving. When we boast about inner progress we haven't fully built yet, two things happen. First, we create pressure. Now we feel like we have to live up to what we claimed we already were. Second, we anchor our growth to other people's validation. And when that approval fades, or when we slip up, we feel exposed, like we've failed publicly. That's not calm, that's performance. So let your actions speak. Let your patience be noticed, not posted. Let your resilience show when things get tough, not just when things are going well. That's how calm is built, not by talking, but by practicing. And when people start to feel that strength in you, without you ever needing to say a word, that's when you know it's real. Lesson 5. Don't measure your peace by someone else's life. One of the quickest ways to lose your calm is to look sideways. Social media, conversations, even just walking down the street. We're constantly shown curated versions of other people's lives, their success, their happiness, their confidence. And quietly, almost without noticing, we begin to compare. Why aren't I there yet? Why is their life so put together while mine feels messy? What am I doing wrong? But here's the truth. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just forgetting a core Stoic teaching. Your path is your own. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the Roman Empire and still battled with self-doubt, wrote to himself, "Don't waste what remains of your life comparing yourself to others." That hits deep, because comparison is the thief of calm. It pulls your attention away from your own growth, your own progress, your own peace. You start living someone else's timeline and lose sight of your own. Stoicism teaches that real peace comes not from matching someone else's life, but from aligning with your own values. What matters to you? What kind of person are you trying to become? That's the compass, and when you follow it, the noise fades. You stop measuring your worth by external markers and start rooting it in internal consistency. So the next time comparison creeps in, pause, breathe, gently remind yourself, I'm not here to live their life, I'm here to live mine with clarity, purpose, and peace. That mindset, that's unshakable, that's Stoic, that's the calm you're building. Lesson 6. Don't expect the world to be easy. If you expect life to be smooth, you'll always be shaken. If you assume people will always treat you fairly, you'll constantly be disappointed. If you believe that every day should feel good, you'll live in frustration. And this right here is where most people lose their calm, not because life is hard, but because they expected it not to be. But the Stoics saw things differently. They trained their minds before the storm came. Not to be pessimists, but to be prepared, to meet reality on its terms, not theirs. Epictetus said it plainly. Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whatever way they happen. This is the path to peace. That one mindset shift changes everything, because when you stop expecting ease, you stop reacting in shock when things go wrong. And suddenly you have space, not to panic, but to respond. When you train your mind to stay calm in any situation, you don't do it by wishing for a life without struggle. You do it by getting stronger than the struggle, by waking up each day with the quiet readiness that things might fall apart, and the deeper confidence that you won't. Think of it like this. A soldier doesn't hope the battlefield is safe. A Stoic doesn't hope the world is soft. We prepare ourselves, we build mental armor, we accept the reality of difficulty. And in doing so, we make ourselves unshakable. So the next time something hard hits, don't say, "Why me?" Instead say, "Ah, yes. This is what I've been training for." That shift doesn't just help you stay calm, it helps you rise over and over again. Lesson 7. Don't resist reality. Learn to accept what is. Let's end with something most of us struggle with, whether we admit it or not. Acceptance. It sounds passive at first, almost like giving up. But in Stoicism, acceptance is not weakness. It's strength in its purest form. It's the ability to look life in the face, pain, loss, uncertainty, and say, I can live with this. I can move forward anyway. You see, much of our suffering doesn't come from what happens. It comes from our refusal to accept that it did happen. We get stuck wishing things were different, replaying conversations, resenting reality like we can argue it into changing, but no one has ever found peace by fighting the truth. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What he meant was this: life will throw obstacles, yes, but they aren't stopping you, they are the path. What you're going through is not blocking your calm, it's training it. Acceptance doesn't mean you like what happened. It means you're no longer letting it control your emotional state. It means you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And instead ask, how can I meet this moment with strength? When you stop resisting reality, you gain incredible power. You're not wasting energy wishing it were different. You're using that energy to respond with clarity, with focus, with calm. And that's the heart of Stoicism. You don't wait for the storm to pass. You become the person who stands still in it. So when life doesn't go the way you planned, try whispering to yourself, "This is the way," and take the next step. Calm is not the absence of hardship. It's the presence of inner strength. And now you've trained yours. Lesson 8. Don't speak more than you listen. In a world obsessed with being heard, the rarest and most powerful act is to listen, not just to others, but to yourself, to the moment, to what life is really trying to say. We often mistake talking for control, for intelligence, even for confidence. But Stoicism reminds us that calm doesn't shout. Calm observes, it waits, it listens first. There's a reason Epictetus, one of the most respected Stoic teachers, said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That wasn't just a clever line. It was survival wisdom for clarity, peace, and self-control. When we rush to fill silence, we miss what's underneath. We speak out of anxiety, not understanding. We argue to defend our ego, not our values. And often we regret it later. But when you train your mind to stay calm, you learn the power of restraint, the strength it takes to not speak until you're truly ready. Listening slows you down. It anchors you in the present moment. It makes you less reactive and more responsive. Whether in conflict, conversation, or moments of decision, listening gives you an edge. Not because you dominate the room, but because you understand it. So next time you feel the urge to jump in, defend yourself, prove a point, or fill the gap with words, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this silence asking me to speak or to listen? Because sometimes the strongest mind is the quietest one. The calm after the storm. Take a breath. Really, pit right now. In through the nose, hold, and let it go. If you've made it this far, something tells me this wasn't just a video for you. It was a moment, maybe even a shift. And if it stirred something in you, in just a little, don't rush past that feeling. Sit with it. Let it echo. Because what you just walked through wasn't entertainment. It was ancient wisdom tested in the fires of real life. Emperors, slaves, soldiers, philosophers, all learning the same thing, that the calmest minds are the ones that choose peace, not just wait for it. And now you're one of them. You're not just a viewer anymore. You're a quiet warrior in training. Someone who doesn't just scroll past life, but actually listens to it. And hey, here's a little challenge for you. Drop a comment below, but don't make it the usual great video stuff. Tell me, which lesson hit you the hardest? Which one stopped you in your tracks? Or better yet, what's one thing you're going to do differently after watching this? Don't just say it for me. Say it for you. Write it. Make it real. And if this corner of the internet gave you something valuable, a pause, a breath, a shift in mindset, consider liking the video, not for the algorithm, but to quietly raise your hand and say, yeah, this meant something to me. And if you want more moments like this, more ancient wisdom you can actually use in real life, hit that subscribe button. We're building something here, something grounded, something real. And trust me, you'll want to be here when the next piece drops. Until then, stay steady, stay observant, and above all, stay calm.